Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Actors Area. I am your host, the Actors Life Coach, the Vibrational Life Coach, everything, and then some. Just kidding. I'm your host, Sean Grant, and I am happy to have you here with me on another spectacular, beautiful, wonderful day. Another day to go out there and take your dreams by the tail and just have at it. Now, getting right into it today, I just want to encourage you. And I know that there's a lot of people out there, a lot of actors, a lot of performers, a lot of people who want to see their dreams come true. And so this show today is geared towards letting you know that everything works out when you're in the right place, right? Everything works out when you're in the right place. And what I mean by that is when you're following your purpose, when you're trusting the calling of your soul, when you are in a position to do what sings to the very deepest sacred part of your spirit, the universe conspires in your favor. And I remember the very first time I heard that was from Paulo Coelho, one of my favorite writers, and you may know him from a lot of his books. The most notable one, I believe, is The Alchemist. And it was in that book where he says, when you have a dream, the universe conspires to bring your dream to pass. And it's amazing how truthful that is. So, you know, if you have this dream to be to be a world-class actor, you know, if it's coming from a place in your heart to where it's going to change the world and help other people become better, then everything else around you is going to fall into place to make sure that that dream comes to pass. And so you have to go into it knowing that no matter what you face, no matter what you come against. And I stand here today telling you these things because I've been here and I've had the opportunity to overcome them. And then the only way you overcome them is you have to connect to your higher self. Like we talk a lot about vibration, and vibration comes down to just trusting that whatever makes you feel good, whatever leads you to your soul, is going to allow you to attract everything you need into your life, or rather attune to everything you need in your life. And so as actors, the reason why I'm so adamant about this is because I see so many actors give up on their dreams because they can't make ends meet. I see so many actors give up on so much stuff that is just taking them one step at a time closer to where they want to be because they can't see the whole road as to how it's gonna pan out. And you've got to, by the universal law of expectation, you got to see this thing happening in your mind even before it begins to happen outside of you. You got to attune to it. You got to spiritually connect to it and know that it's going to work out because you have this dream. God has given you this dream in order for you to rise higher and then to turn around and to help other people to do the same. You know, so for that reason alone, the fact that your dream, your desire has a global impact on humanity, it has to get done. God wants to see you to get it done. The spirit guides want to see you to get it done. Everybody wants to see you be successful, because if you're successful, then that opens up the possibility and the probability of success for other people who are watching you as you become more successful in your divine endeavor to be all that you came to this earth to be. Okay, now before I go on a metaphysical rant, let's just get right back to it. So We have to come to a place, because we always want to be honest with ourselves. One of the very best things you can do is be honest and truthful with who you are and all your dealings, rather, with people, with individuals. And how do you do that? You go within. You always connect to the deepest, most inner part of yourself, which is that part which is of God, which is connected to God. However you want to put it, it's all God at the end of the day. And you connect with it, because when you do that, this will give you honest answers as far as where you need to go. Where is the best route for you? What is the highest path for you to take? And when you learn how to do this, I'm working on a book right now, and I definitely want you to get the opportunity to check it out when it's done. But it's called Kill the Audition with Intuition. All right? Kill the Audition with Intuition. And what that comes down to is that no matter what is on that script, no matter what anybody else tells you, when you feel something within your being resonating up and it tells you to do something a certain way, you follow that without a shadow of a doubt, because by a higher grade of power from a divine space, that is what is going to separate you from the other people, by following what your heart tells you to do. I had an audition the other day for a production I just signed on to do. And what was terrific is I had thought the entire way that I was going to do it in a particular manner. And I had prepared myself to do this, and I had set myself on doing this. But one thing you realize as you become more seasoned as an actor or actress, you always leave yourself open to whatever the moment gives you, because things can change in just a moment. And that's the beauty of our profession, is that something so authentic and organic can happen after all that rehearsal, after all that studying and practicing. You still leave yourself to that authentic, creative, exciting moment, and something different happens. And so right as I've already turned on the lights, as I've got my camera ready to rock and roll and do this thing, something changes, and it says, you need to do it this way. And immediately, now, there was a time and place where I would have ignored this voice, you can say this inner voice, because I was too scared to find out what would have happened. And what happened? I didn't get the audition. I didn't even get a call back. I didn't even get an opportunity to be involved in the project, because I didn't listen to my intuition telling me what it knew from a higher perspective, what it knew that was going to wow or woo these people into giving me the job that I wanted. So, you may go through that, but ultimately, intuition is not the same as logic, right? Intuition becomes something that things may look completely different. I'm talking about black on the outside and then white on the inside, and you just can't figure out any reasoning as to why this makes any sense, but it's still urging you to do it. And so not only do you use this in your career, you can use this in your entire life. And that is when you start to find out that you get the, I would say, upper hand, even though life is not about a competition, it's about creation. You get the upper hand as to what route you can take to be the most successful that you are. And that brings us to knowing that when you're in the right place at the right time, exposed to the right people, that everything will work itself out. There's no competition. There's nothing that you have to do better than somebody else. You just got to tune in to being the very best version of yourself. And when you're able to do that, it will always work itself out. Always, always, always. There's absolutely no ifs, ands, or buts or qualms about anything not coming to pass when you find that you're completely dialed in to your intuition, okay? And that is what contributes to us being the very best that we can be. The most successful people in life, spiritual, religious, or not, are the ones that follow their higher compass, are the ones that follow their highest guidance. There's a part of us, a part of our souls that is so intelligent, that is so capable, that is so esoteric and fantastic. When we connect to that God space, I like to call it, it can see the beginning, the middle, and the ending of everything. So it sees everything all at once. I think it's called omnipotent. It sees everything all at once. So when all that information is present to a source, you draw from that source, you know exactly what you need to do in order to make the next step, to make the next jump, to be the very best that you came to this earth to be. So this is a valuable thing to have, especially as an actor, because then you call on certain things that won't necessarily present themselves beforehand while you're trying to figure things out. The best way to really involve your intuition in everything is just to surrender and to let go, to practice your breathing, to go within, to be mindful, to be within the moment. And when you do that, phenomenal things can happen. When you do that, that's how Academy Award performances and Golden Globe winners are created, because they're tapping in, once again, to that authentic essence of what the moment is giving them. And there's nothing you can do to practice for that. There's nothing you can do to create that. You just accept it and you take advantage of it and you trust what the inside of you is telling you and you act on it. And that's all it is. It's just as simple as that. But it takes courage at first to learn to trust it. But when you do trust it, I guarantee you, not only will your career change for the better and transform, but your life will change for the better and transform. And you will find so many ways to be so creative and so great at what you do. And that's ultimately what I want for you to have, no matter what it is that you get into. Okay? With that being said, that leads us to the end of the podcast. Last thing I just want to talk to you about is just remembering that it will work out. Remembering that no matter how hard life gets, no matter how hard life seemingly gets, and I say seemingly because the only time we suffer, and I said this in the podcast yesterday, the only time we suffer is when we resist. Okay? When we start to resist what is, that's when we suffer, because once again, we're telling the God intelligence, the God life force, that we know what's best, as opposed to allowing something that's been around infinity to do what it's supposed to do. We tell it, we think, we know this is better and this is what needs to happen. Forget that. Don't even think about doing that. Accept what is now. Surrender to it. Find the lesson. Find the joy. Find the happiness. And trust. Trust, because it is. I'm a living example. Trust that it's all working out for you in your highest good to make your most joyful, your happiest, and your most peaceful self come alive every single moment of the day. Guys, thanks so much for joining me. It has been a pleasure. If you know anybody that can benefit from this podcast, feel free to share. Feel free to send through email. You can actually download these off of the website, which is pretty neat. Also, if you're on the go and you want to listen to it on your iPhone, whatever it is, spread the wealth, spread the wisdom. It's all about making sure that everybody comes in to the opportunity to better themselves, to be greater, and to just elevate their life and live their best life. And if we can do that, then we are living our divine obligation, our divine duty, so to say. But with that being said, have a wonderful day. Good luck on all your auditions and anything you take part in today. All things aside, enjoy the process and know that ultimately success is yours. I'm Sean Grant. Guys, have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you on tomorrow. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.